It is early spring in Utah, and the trees are still bare and void of their leaves. Up in the mountains there are still packs of snow, but down in the valleys the water is flowing through a small spring-fed stream. Though parts of this stream are very shallow, no more than a trickle, in other parts small pools gather. Various water plants and algae grow in these small pools, providing food for the herbivores who live here. One animal that takes advantage of the plants that grow here is the muskrat. Muskrats are not true rats, but rather are a close relative to the vole and lemming. Though muskrats typically prefer to live in larger bodies of water, during the spring they are commonly found in marginal habitats such as this small stream. It's in small streams such as this where the mink has the advantage over the muskrat. Though we find this mink in his natural habitat, this is not in fact a wild mink. This is actually a trained ranch mink that has been released to hunt the muskrat. This ranch mink has spent the first 2 years of his life locked in a small cage. Thanks to the careful training of his caretaker, this mink is now able to wander through the wilderness and even hunt for his own dinner, just like wild mink have done for thousands of years. When first discovered on the mink farm, this mink stood out because of his extreme aggression and tenacity. He would stubbornly hang from the glove like a pit bull, refusing to let go. This impressed me, and so I decided to take him home and try and train him as one of my new hunting companions. I took this new aggressive mink home and decided to name him Washushe, which means beyond brave in the Omaha Native American language. To my surprise, I found Washushe extremely easy to train. Without the fearful and timid nature so common among untrained mink, Washushe quickly moved through the training steps and soon was coming when called without hesitation. It wasn't long before Washushe could even be safely handled without gloves, a surprising feat for such an unusually aggressive mink. Once he learned to come when called, Washushe was then allowed to gain experience learning how to hunt like a wild mink would. As Washushe follows along the bank of the stream, he searches for the familiar scent of possible prey. Because mink don't have very good eyesight, they rely on their nose to find their next meal. Washushe picks up the scent of a muskrat and begins to follow its trail. As the scent of the muskrat grows noticeably stronger, Washushe picks up his pace in excitement. The muskrat detects Washushe's approach and instinctively heads to deeper water. Unfortunately, this small pool isn't quite deep enough. So the muskrat tries another trick. He hides underwater where the mink can't follow his scent. Washushe can smell the fresh scent of his prey, but can't pinpoint exactly where the muskrat's hiding. He sniffs around the grass and rocks and on the surface of the water where the scent still lingers. But the muskrat can't hold his breath forever and eventually tries to slip away when Washushe isn't looking. But just before he can escape, Washushe sees him and the chase is on. For the first little while, Washushe and the muskrat battle. During their struggle, Washushe is careful with the placement and timing of his bites so as to both keep control of the muskrat while also avoiding being bitten himself. Washushe then wraps the muskrat up, putting it in the classic weasel hold. This is a common wrestling move used by basically all of the weasel family when attacking dangerous prey. They use all four of their legs to wrap their prey up from behind. This gives them complete control of the animal and also allows them to deliver a fatal bite to the back of the neck while simultaneously avoiding their prey's sharp teeth and claws. With smaller prey like a brown rat, the mink is able to completely wrap their jaws around the back of the animal's head, thus crushing its skull and quickly ending its life. However, with larger animals like muskrats, the mink can't quite get their jaws completely around the back of its head. I often get asked why I don't intervene to help put the muskrat out of his misery. The reason I don't like doing this is I find that it distracts the mink and leaves them open to possibly getting bitten by the muskrat. I prefer to let nature take its course and not risk hurting my mink by trying to help things move along more quickly than is natural. After all, there's no one there to help a wild mink while it's killing its prey. After spending his first 2 years on the farm, Washushe now gets to enjoy the best of both worlds. He has the luxury of exploring nature and hunting like the wild predator he truly is, but also Washushe gets shielded from the harsh reality of nature. He doesn't have to worry about starving to death, and he's also protected from other hazards. Washushe really now gets to live in the best of both worlds.